Hello, yarn queens and hook heroes. Welcome back to Grandma Hobbies, the channel where we stitch with sass and crochet with class. Today, we're about to dive hook first into something extra special, a hard granny square, baby. Because why make boring squares when you can make emotional ones? Am I right? Now, look at this little beauty. Yes, that's a heart in a square, wrapped in love, and possibly regret if you're a beginner. But hey, we are in this together. So grab your hook and your sass and a little bit of snack of your choice because we're gonna make this baby stitch by stitch. So I'm gonna place this aside and let you know what materials to be using. So first of all, this is the hook that I will be using, which is a 4 mm crochet hook. I'm using a 8G pony and some worsted weight yarn, which is red and some white. I am using these beautiful expensive looking scissors. Right, it's like a flamingo, so these scissors are my favorite ones. These are also from pony. And then we would need some tapestry needle for those sneaky ends to be hidden. So again, these are also from pony. And no, this video is not a paid promotion, so I just love pony store products because they're very good in quality. And finally, you would need some patience because you will need it throughout the journey of this video. So guys, to start off, we will be creating a magic circle. I'm pretty sure you know how to make a magic circle. If you don't, please use some reference video from YouTube. So to make a magic circle, please lay the short strand of yarn onto your fingers and create an X point by wrapping the yarn around your index finger and middle finger. And you should be holding this X point with your thumb and index finger while you are unraveling the loop from your index finger as well, right? Now, let this working yarn go behind. Insert your hook into that loop with your middle finger and your ring finger. Try to pull this up, grab the hook, grab the yarn and pull this inside the loop and rotate the hook. And then you go ahead and chain 3. So 1 chain. At this point you can let go of the loop because you've formed the magic circle already. So chain 2 and chain 3. So I have my chain 3 here. And now to create the first cluster, I will be yarning over and going into the loop, yarning over and pulling up a loop. I have 3 loops on my hook. I will yarn over and pull through 2, yarn over and pull through 2. I have that way made 1 double crochet. I will go ahead and make another double crochet by doing the same thing, right? So once I have 2 double crochets, my chain 3 indicates as my first double crochet, and the other 2 double crochets will give me 3 double crochets in that loop. Okay, now once you do that, you are going to make chain 2. You will be going ahead and making another cluster, which is just double crochets into the loop, 3 double crochets I mean. So 1, 2 and 3. Chain 2 again. Make another cluster, which is 3 double crochets into the loop. If you're a beginner, I'm pretty sure it's going to be a little tough for you to understand, but I would highly recommend you that watch videos on how to make double crochets and chains. That way you will be able to understand the pattern here. So totally I have to make 4 clusters. I already have one here with my chain 3 as the beginning. Then I have chain 2, my second cluster, chain 2 and my third cluster. I have my other next chain 2, and I'm going to make one more set, not set but one more cluster, which is just 3 double crochets into the loop. Okay, at this point we've made about 4 clusters into that magic circle. Pull the loop, I mean the yarn, so that you don't lose it. or lose the grip of that double crochet. And to close this magic circle, you need to see where the short strand of yarn is, and you need to pull it tight. And before we close this space, let me tell you, while you're crocheting the double crochet clusters, it's important that you use both the loops, which is the circle, and as well as the short loop strand, and you need to crochet along the way. Okay, so once you have that, you will go ahead and close it as tightly as you want. This way I have formed a kind of a square. You see, I will show you how to complete that square as well now. So to complete that square, we will simply go ahead and make the last 2 chains like that, and we will slip stitch into the third, or you can go ahead and make a slip stitch into the first double crochet as well, but I prefer doing it on my third chain, because we chain 3, make a slip stitch. Sorry, I guess my loop got a little shorter. So to make a slip stitch, you simply go into this next chain, yarn over and pull through both the loops. And I'm sorry for the background noises, guys. Now we will make 2 more slip stitches until we reach the chain 2 space. So here as well, you go into the next stitch, make a slip stitch like that, go into the next stitch, make a slip stitch. We have 2 slip stitches, and the final slip stitch, the third slip stitch, which will be in our chain 2 space like that. Okay, so at this point we have created the foundation of the granny square. So round 2 is where the love potion actually kicks in, right? So we are going to shape a heart with clusters again that look like little weeks that are hugging each other. So we are going to start off with 3 chains again, 1, 2 and 3, and then you're going to make 2 sets of clusters. So 1 double crochet and 2 double crochets after the chain 3, which will make my first cluster. And then we are going to make chain 2, and in the same chain 2 space right here, we are going to make another cluster, 1, 2 and a 3. Okay, and then I'm going to make a chain 1, and then I'm going to go into the next chain 2 space, which is this, and make another set of 2 clusters. So 1, 2 and 3. So 3 double crochets into that chain 2 space, chain 2 and another cluster, which is going to be the 3 double crochets like so. Right, after every cluster you're going to chain 1 and move on to the next chain 2 space to make another set of the cluster. So I'll show you for the one last time. I made 1 double crochet, 2 double crochets and my third double crochet, and then I shall go ahead and make chain 2, and then I will make another 3 double crochets into the same loop like that. Continue making the clusters around the circle as if your besties are hugging it out at brunch, and I will meet you right at the end. Okay, so at this point I have completed the 4 clusters. If you see, I have like 2 sets of those clusters in each of the chain 2 spaces. So 2, 4, 6, 8, and along the way I've also gone ahead and crocheted a chain 1 in between each of those sets of cluster. Now to end this, I will be chaining 1 and I will be going into the chain 1 space from the previous round where I started with chain 3. So I'm going to go on top of the chain 3 and make a slip stitch by simply going in like that. Okay, and then again go into the next stitch and create a slip stitch, go into the next, create a slip stitch, and then create the slip stitches until you reach the chain 2 space between the cluster like that. Okay guys, now it's time to contour the circle into a heart that even Cupid would be jelly of. So pay attention, because we are going to be changing the yarn. That means I will start creating the top curve by changing the yarn to white color, right? So to start off with, I am going to make the corner cluster. Please remember that each of these sets of clusters are going to be your corners, and your between chain one's space are where we will create the curve. So to start off, I will be chaining 3 again. 1, 2, 3, and I will make 2 double crochets into the same space. I will make chain 2 again and make 2 double crochets, and onto my third double crochet is where I will start attaching the white yarn. So to attach the yarn, I will go ahead and do a double crochet, but I won't complete it. So I already have 3 loops on my hook. I'm going to yarn over and pull through those 3 loops. At this point, I will stop. I will not complete it. Rather, I will take the white color yarn, and then I am going to connect this by simply pulling the white yarn into those 2 loops like that. Okay, let me give you a little closer look, just a second. So as I said that I have my 2 loops here, which is my incomplete double crochet right there, right? Now I'm going to take the yarn and maybe create like a not a loop, but I'm just trying to fold the yarn like this so that I have a small loop there, and with the help of your crochet hook, I am just going to pull that loop out of those 2 loops that I had from the double crochet. So this way the new color of yarn is connected. Now to start with the next section, I am going to go ahead and make chain 1 like that, and then I'm going to make a cluster with white color, which is right here. So 1 double crochet, 2 double crochet, and 3 double crochet. So 3 double crochet is basically making 1 cluster. So let me zoom this out. There you go. A little more, I guess. Perfect. So I have finished my first cluster. Now before I even finish the cluster, sorry, I forgot to show you the change in color now. So I made 2 double crochets. I just had to undo the 3rd double crochet because at this point we are going to change the color to red. So I'm going to make an incomplete double crochet, and I will pick up the yarn which is still connected to the back of my granny square right here, right? So I'm going to pick that up, drop the white yarn down, and then make the same, use the same technique to pull the loop, the red loop out of those white loops, right? I hope you've got that, but if you didn't, I would suggest you to repeat it, rewind it, and rewatch it again. So now at this point, I'm going to chain 1, and I am here at my next corner where I will make another set of cluster, which is making 3 double crochets, 3 double crochets, chain 2, and 3 double crochets. 1, 2, and 3. Once we are done with that, I will go ahead and make a chain 1 and a single cluster in between those 2 clusters from the previous round, or maybe in between that chain 1 that we made from the previous round. So once you finish that cluster, and sorry, do not finish the cluster, but again you make an incomplete double crochet, drop the red yarn and pick up the white yarn to now connect it back here. Okay, so connect that, and then you're going to make chain 1, and in this corner you're going to make another set of clusters with chain 2 space with white color yarn. So 1, 2, 3, chain 2, and make 1, 2 and a half double crochet. Drop the white yarn at this point and pick up the red yarn. There you go. It's a little tricky with, okay, so pick up the red yarn and then you complete that double crochet. Okay guys, so once we have created, connected the red yarn, we are going to make a chain one, and I'm going to make one cluster into the chain one space here. 1, 2, 3, and now at this point again you don't complete your double crochet, you leave it as it is, and then you pick up the white color yarn like that and complete the stitch like so. Okay, and then you make a chain one and make another corner by making another set of cluster. So 1, 2, 3 double crochets, chain 2, 1, 2, 2, and again at this point you make the incomplete. I'm sorry I called it a half double crochet, that's totally a wrong term because a half double crochet is again one of the type of stitch. So I'm going to make an incomplete double crochet, and then I'm going to connect my red yarn back here. I will chain one and then I will make a cluster. I will chain one again, and then I will finally slip stitch into the third chain like that. At this point you can already see that the heart is formed. So let me quickly grab my scissors. So if you've basically made this heart shape, already feel proud because reaching here is definitely an achievement. So I'm going to cut off the yarn, the red yarn, because we are no more going to use it. I will also be sewing the ends at a later point in time. Now we will just be working with white yarn across. I will show you how to make the increases of the square. Because we've completed this, we're just going to work 2 more rounds to get this pattern completed. Okay, I'm going to set this aside. Alright guys, I have gone ahead and also I cut the white yarn as well, because we do not need any extra yarn like this to be appearing at the back of the pattern. So I usually prefer cutting it. Now I will be going into the first corner, which is right here, right? So we just did one slip stitch here with the red color to connect the square, and in the chain 2 space I'm connecting the white yarn, and I am going to make a chain 3, the normal pattern that we normally follow. So a chain 3, and then you make 2 double crochets, 1, 2, and then we make chain 2, we make another 3 double crochets. That's our first set of a double crochet cluster, and also that is our corner. Okay, the first corner. Now we will chain 1, go into the next chain 1 space, which is right here from the previous round, and make 1 cluster only. So 1, 2, and 3 double crochets, chain 1, and go into the next chain 1 space from the previous round and make another cluster. So I finished 2 clusters in between. I chain 1 again. So these chain 1s will actually help you increase those clusters in each and every round. So I go into the next chain 2 space and make my second corner, which is going to be 2 clusters into the chain 2 space. So 1 cluster, chain 2, another cluster into the same loop, and there we have our second corner. I'm going to show you one more last time so that you can get the rest of the pattern completed. So after the set of 2 clusters, I'm going to chain 1, go into the next chain 1 space from the previous round and make 1 more cluster like that. Oops, sorry. I will chain 1 again, make another cluster, I will chain 1 again, and now make the 3rd corner, which is right here. So this way I've completed all the 3 corners. I will let you complete the rest of the round. Another 2 clusters with chain 1 spaces, again another set of cluster which will be your final 4th corner, and here you will make another 2 clusters. So I'll meet you right here at the end. Alright folks, we have come to the end of this round, right? So what are we going to do here is that we're going to slap a frame on that we're just slapping a frame on that fabulous heart that we've just created, right? So by doing this, you'll be able to make it into a perfect square. So I've made my 4th corner. I did my chain 1, I did my 1 cluster, I again chain 1, I did another cluster, and now I'm going to finally do 1 more chain, and I'm going to slip stitch into the 3rd chain, the chain 3 on top of the chain 3, or even if you can't find that, just go into the first double crochet and slip stitch it like that. Slip stitch until you reach to the chain 2 space. Alright, so this is it. If you want to increase, you can do that, just like I have done here. I've added 1 more frame of increases, so you can go ahead and do that. But if you like this size, you can keep it simple and cool like this, but make sure that you weave in the ends. I'll show you how to do that as well in just a second. Now let me quickly snip off the yarn. Okay, pull this out. I usually prefer pulling, inserting my fingers into the loop and pulling the thread out of that, so that it creates a sturdy knot which will not pull out my yarn. So now I have this messy looking ends that I have to sew in. So I'm just going to go into back of these double crochets that I've made, and I'm going to hide that into it, and I will cut off the excess yarn like this. Same with the red one as well. I prefer inserting my needle into the stitches first so that it's easier that way. Okay, like that. And then I will go ahead and hide the yarn like that. Cut it off. Similarly, I'm going to repeat that same thing on every single end of those yarn that I see. So weaving the ends like that. Cut. However, please make sure you're not cutting these strands, because these are from, because we pulled the yarn every time we had to change the color. It's formed because of that. So please do not cut that, otherwise there is a possibility that you will lose your stitches, and that will probably, I mean, you will lose your stitches like that. It will start coming out from between, right? So I am going to do the last strand of yarn there, and voila, here we go. Oh, we also have this one which we just slip stitched. So I am going to go into the on the top of this like that, insert, pull, and then I will go back here into this, and I will again pull like that. Okay, and then let's just simply cut this off like that. So it's done. So finally it's completed. We've weaved in those ends, And if you made it this far, you deserve a yarn crown and a latte. So don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell icon like it just stole your favorite hook. And drop a comment telling me what emotions your heart square is channeling today. Until next time, keep those hooks hot and your hearts handmade. Bye, crochet cuties.